Alright, all you three-lettered or numbered champions of the high-scoring ranks out there, welcome back to the Indy Radio Arcade. And one thing we forgot to mention about that custom Robo review, folks, they didn't have any power-ups featured in that game, one, which was one thing I wish they would have changed so you can actually recover your health during the matches, and two, another thing, as a little bit of a tip, since we haven't done this in the longest amount of time, make sure you land right side up while fighting with your custom Robo, because if you don't, when you get shot out of that cannon and land on the ground with the dice, and if you land upside down, let's just say it will get you killed, especially during the story mode of the said game. And finally, once again, Nintendo, please, pretty please, make another custom Robo game. That's all I asked for. But besides my request to Nintendo that I got a feeling it's gonna take them about 10 years to reach them, I think it's time for us to go ahead and put your games on high display, as well as putting your high scores on that same pedestal as well, for a very special 10 for 10 edition of the Indy Wall of Fame. And the first game that we have up, which comes from the free Game Planet page of GameJolt.com with their said game, The Food of the Gods. And this game automatically reminds me of, well, not only a little hint of the Crazies, but a splash in there of Return to Bug Island. Or at least the Bug Island game that was based on the Shitstorm game that was played one year during the Matt and Pat series that they had back when they were on YouTube. Yeah, and here's hoping in the near future, since they've already gotten shotguns covered during this said game, here's hoping they also give you flamethrowers to take out those giant hornets and those giant rats and those giant chickens and anything else that tries to attack you along the way, including that tornado. And Maestro said, how in the world are you going to take out a tornado with a flamethrower? I've done crazier with less in video games, Maestro. Don't test me. But besides trying to take out a giant oversized wind funnel with fire, the next game that we have up, which comes from the itch.io page of Lost Bullet, nice name by the way, with their said game, Forgotten Tunnels Episodes 1 and 2. And this game automatically reminds me of not only Pan's Labyrinth, but a little hint of the Cabin in the Woods movie. Yeah, definitely reminds me of that. And here's hoping in the near future with giant oversized worms and whatever sort of markling beast they got planned to throw at you in these tunnels, that you have something to defend yourself with. And Maestro's asking me what I'm gonna defend myself with besides that Scooby-Doo flashlight you're using. And to answer him, I don't know. Find something, because if you don't and they find you, you're gonna get hurt in those tunnels. Just letting you know. Anyway, the next game that we have up comes from the developers Vite Kong with their said game, Chicken's Madness. And this game automatically reminds me of a combination of Pummel Party with a little hint of the duck game in there as well. And seeing the fact that this game already has a spring-loaded fist in it like something from out of Looney Tunes, yeah, definitely reminds me of Looney Tunes. And here's hoping in the near future for this game, since they got that spring-loaded fist, you might as well include anything that Acme came out with to actually use to take out your opponents in this game. And maybe, just maybe, a pie and an anvil included in there as well to truly get one over on your opponents in this Chicken Madness-like game. But besides using devices that were most likely used in the Saturday morning cartoons that was featured during my childhood, the next game that we have up comes from the developers Io Hazor Warmius with their said game, Really Bad Flying Machine. And this game automatically reminds me of, well, a couple of the flying machines I tried to come up with during the game of the way things work. And here's hoping in the near future, seeing the fact that you can't really customize this plane, they give you a chance to actually upgrade it to be a little bit better than it was in the level prior to it. And according to the Maestro, not too entirely sure you can do that either, so here's hoping you can come up with your own custom levels to work around this said flying machine that is really, really bad. No, seriously, it's a really bad flying machine. It has it in the title. But besides a game that, according to the Maestro, was probably a couple of the flying machines that was rejected from the Wright brothers, the next game we have up comes from the developers Inertia Game Studios with their set game, Facility 47. And this game automatically reminds me of The Thing. And the only reason I say that, folks, is because you're in a place that is isolated from the world in the Antarctic that I got a feeling is gonna have some form of evil creature trying to come after you as you collect these parts to try to get out of there. And here's hoping in the near future, and yes, Maestro, you can shake your head all you want, here's hoping that we get a chance to get a flamethrower in this game. Cause whatever sort of creature comes after you, you're definitely gonna need fire to kill it. I don't know of anything else that you would think would work here, Maestro. What, electricity with all that snow around there? You'll probably electrocute yourself. So yeah, fire. The only thing I can see to kill those things. If they exist. It might be all in your head. And besides a Twilight Zone episode that I got a feeling we saw last night, the next game that we have up comes from the developers G-Door Games with their set game, Arcadium. And this game automatically reminds me of Breakout. And here's hoping in the near future that this game has the same amount of power-ups like that one Breakout game I played back in high school. Like the one that gave you multi-balls, or even a chance for you to have multiple paddles to take out all of those bricks that are in this game. And according to the Maestro, they do. Nice! And the next game that we have up comes from the developers Jacob Singer with their set game, Rogue Randy. Not a bad name for a game. And this game automatically reminds me of an 8-bit version of How to Survive with a little hint of Robotron in there as well. Yeah, because I think I see that giant brain creature that tried to kill me in Robotron X that's featured during this game. Not bad. And here's hoping in the near future for this game, just like Robotron, they give you some form of beam cannon to take out the enemies that try to take you out during this game. But according to the Maestro, with this game in a mysterious land, not too entirely sure you can get a beam cannon. Well, what about a giant club then? Okay, a club can work. Alright, we'll go with the giant club then. Anyway, besides taking out mysterious creatures on a mysterious island with a giant oversized club, like if you're Captain Caveman or something, the next game that we have up comes from the Mount Ruth K Studios with their set game, Dr. Dirk's Mutant Battlegrounds. And this game automatically reminds me of a combination of Spore with a little hint of the island of Dr. Moreau, if it took place in a desert that sort of looks like Mars. Yeah. Then again, I think they did have an island of Dr. Moreau that did take place in the desert, but that's a story for another day, because here's hoping in the near future for this game that depending on how many creatures you get a chance to beat, you get a chance to actually evolve your said creature to further take out other people who are on this island. Or, oh, good idea, Maestro. Maybe a chance to take out even smaller creatures than yours to help you evolve your creature along the way while you take out other creatures that are on this island. Yeah, Sounds better than what I was gonna say. And the next game that we have up, besides the Galapagos Islands brought to life, comes from the developers Syndrome Entertainment with their set game, Hard Vacuum. And this game automatically reminds me of an outer space version of Ace Combat with a little hint of Star Fox and Battlestar Galactica in there as well. And here's hoping in the near future for this game that they give you a chance to actually fully customize this said ship to help you take out whatever sort of evil aliens that are going to try to take you out during this said game. And according to the Maestro, there's no evil aliens, but if you look very carefully on page 6, right between that asteroid and I guess that little rock that was flying across the screen, I'm pretty sure I saw a UFO flying by. Yes, check it again. See, look, right there. Well, besides me seeing UFOs like the X-Files, folks, the last but not least game that we have up for this week comes from the developers of Frey Game Studios with their set game, SCP Pandemic, which stands for Secure, Contain, and Protect. And this game automatically reminds me of, well, Resident Evil. The first Resident Evil movie they had, that's exactly what this game reminds me of. And here's hoping in the near future for this game that they give you something a little bit better than the SMGs they tried to use to take out those monsters in this said facility. And yes, Maestro, I'm gonna ask for a shotgun for this one. Why? Because you can never go wrong with shotguns in a game. Trust me. And with all those games out of the way, folks, we now head directly into the high scores from the Twitter page of @Highscore. And the first high score that we have up comes from the gamer 6 with his high score of 73,650, a part of the Wii U game known as Super Luigi Brothers NES Remix 2. Not bad. Next high score that we have up once again comes from 6 with his high score of 105,200, a part of the Wii U game of Pirate Pop Plus. Then you have Babo Fett, or Babbo Fett? You know, we'll go with the second one with his high score of 43,400, a part of the arcade game of Kangaroo. Next up on the plate, we have RetroRob with his high score of 57,270,460, a part of the PS4 game of Pinball Arcade, Whitewater. And according to the Maestro, that beat the high score for this month, but we're going to continue finding these high score, folks, because the next high score we have up comes from Bam Mies with his high score of 4,140, a part of the Atari 5200 game of Galaxian Skill Level 9. Next high score we have up comes from Omargeddon with his high score of 209, a part of the NES game of Dynamite Bowl. What, you're bowling with dynamite? Oh, and he says it's a figure of speech, but I do believe there's dynamite that you bowl with in this game. I could be wrong. Anyway, next high score that we have up once again comes from Omargeddon with his high score of 17,610, a part of the DS game of Atari Greatest Hits, Missile Command Game 10. Not bad. And the next high score that we have up comes from none other than S3Geo797 with his high score of 48,030, a part of the SNES game of Super Punch-Out, Super Macho Man. Ooh, yeah! Now, it didn't say all that, but it did say Super Macho Man, so I had to honor the Macho Man some way, shape, or form for that one. And the next high score that we have up comes from, once again, Omar getting with his high score of 14,435, a part of the Atari 8-bit game of Fantastic Voyage, Game 6. And the last but not least high score that we have up for this week comes from none other than S. Bass with his high score of 131, a part of the web game known as Road of the Dead, which for some strange reason sounds like a sci-fi original film that is most likely going to come on this weekend. But I digress, because if you guys want to go ahead and check out any other cool high scores that are currently coming through the Twitterverse as we speak, you can head on over to the Twitter page of one man only known as @Highscore, or head on over to the website known as highscore.com to win cool prizes for your high scores. And like I say all the time during shows that features games and high scores that are included in the same sentence, is a fair trade. And the high score that we have up for this week that most likely will carry on over to the next month comes from none other than RetroRob with his high score of 57,270,460, a part of the PS4 game known as Pinball Arcade, White Water. And if you guys want to go ahead and check out any other cool games that comes from a planet far, far away from here, yet close enough to help us get to those 10 games we were looking for this week, you can go ahead and head on over to the Free Game Planet page, only known as freegameplanet.com, to check out a whole bunch of games that are just out of this world. And if you want to take things even one more step further than that, folks, and check out a couple of games that are currently coming through the Steam machine via the cargo ship, cargo plane, or even subterranean train that is currently rumbling underneath your toes, you can head on over to the store.steampower page, only known as store.steampower.com, and just click ever so lightly on that Indy button, as well as clicking on that upcoming button as well, to check out a whole bunch of beautiful games that can only be known as a perfect 10, no matter which way you slice it, and not because we're trying to cue it in with the amount of episodes that we have. Because apparently the PR department's holding up 10s to perfectly describe all these cool games. What are you, Ty Dillinger? Oh, he gave those games a 10 too? Then it must be a hit. And I guess with that said, folks, we might as well go ahead and grab a glass of water, and when we return, we'll be back with another exciting $110,000 question right after a word from our sponsors. So don't skip out on that bonus round just yet, folks, and stay tuned.